Welcome back to the Cannabis Podcast. And in this video, we're going to take a deep dive, a medium dive, into a topic I have been fascinated by for the last 5 to 10 years since I've learned about it. And that is cannabis, crypto, and blockchain. And now, before you turn this video off and say, oh, he's a crypto bro, I am not a crypto bro. However, I do own crypto and I am a bro. And technically the definition is an enthusiastic cryptocurrency supporter, usually male, especially a dogmatic, condescending one. I take offense to that. I feel attacked. I am not a crypto bro. I'm a cannabis bro. How about that? I like that. I'm a cannabis bro that side dabbles in crypto. Okay. Anyway, blockchain and cannabis are actually the nationwide solution to cannabis tracking. Now, before we get into this article by the South Florida Hospital News and Healthcare Report, the region's monthly newspaper for healthcare professionals and physicians, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell everybody out there about the Cannabis Podcast. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Let's get into this article called Blockchain, the nationwide solution to cannabis tracking. Now, what does cryptocurrency and cannabis have in common besides beginning with the letter C, obviously? Neither supported by traditional banks. Both have created emerging markets. Both are growing in popularity and intended to solve problems, but yet still misunderstood for their full potential and benefits. And finally, both are closely monitored by the government. That's no secret. While a medical marijuana commercial was prohibited from airing on the Super Bowl, which created a little bit of controversy. So let's see, there's another Super Bowl coming up. Let's see if there is another ad. And I don't know, maybe Seattle's in it, so they're a liberal city. Who knows how it's going to go? But, you know, when you see a cannabis commercial on the Super Bowl, that's how you know we're back, baby, or something like that. Likewise, there is no secret that cannabis is becoming more mainstream. And while Bitcoin made headlines through its historical, quote, bull run in the 2017, early 2018, it's been more widely accepted in retail locations. And underlying blockchain technology is what everyone's talking about. That's wild that blockchain and crypto is more widely accepted than cannabis at this point. It kind of makes me a little frustrated because one is nothing and one is everything. As of today, cannabis is still federally legal in the United States, regardless of Trump's rescheduling. States that have passed laws permitting medical and or adult use of cannabis require some form of tracking so that regulators can monitor sales and usage and ensure compliance within each state's framework. Each state has different requirements, and there are a number of vendor options available. BioTrack, Metric, MJ Freeway, if you've worked in the industry, these are just POS, point of sale tracking systems, CRM tools. Seed to sale tracking, the idea is that every plant grown is supposed to be recorded in a system which documents when it's processed, how it's processed, when it's sold to a customer or distributor. Therefore, a third-party governmental agent could review if a cannabis company has complied with the state's requirements, and the company could benefit from keeping accurate records of its harvest yields and sales. It also has a record of all the terpenes, all the cannabinoids, everything that's in the plant is there on the blockchain, immutable, can't be erased, can't be, messed with. So it's all right there. Now, there have been numerous reports of issues with the current options for the tracking systems, from glitches to login issues, missing data, lag time, etc. For example, growers have reported problems with the current traceability systems that have cost them thousands of dollars in lost revenue. Washington State reported lags, login issues, scrambling on shipping orders, etc. with its traceability system. Oregon's reported its fair share of issues with tracking and processing in 2018. Maryland reported issues including rejection of patients and glitches caused by high levels of user traffic, which resulted in dispensaries being able to complete transactions. Well, why haven't companies turned to blockchain as a solution? Maybe because they don't know about it or it's expensive. I don't know. Let's get into it. While you're thinking about it, smash the like button. Appreciate you. With blockchain technology, the reference pain points and negative experiences can be eliminated once this technology is embraced and also fully understood and scaled up. In simple terms, blockchain, what is blockchain? It's a record-keeping technology, simply put. It's comprised of a chain of blocks, transactions, stored and verified on an open source database. Blockchain's accurate, immutable, which means it's easy for me to say, irreversible, and it can process transactions immediately, within seconds. When new information or transactions are added to the chain, it becomes permanently stored and open for review by anyone. So it's a block of chains of transactions that is, you can't erase it. So it's immutable. Okay. Transparent. Transparency, immediacy, storage, and accurate reporting make this perfect solution for cannabis tracking. A third-party regulator could easily review a company's cannabis transactions through the blockchain without having to request special access or an audit, which would also force lawyers and work time and hours spent. And those are the things that basically put cannabis businesses out of business, is when you get audited, you have to spend your time doing the audit and not making money and growing your business. Supply chain management is absolutely vital for cannabis, and many believe there's no greater technology that exists other than blockchain. So, for example, this news is from Florida, and in Florida, there was a recent announcement that a developer of software asset management, Level Blocks, signed an agreement with a licensed cultivator, manufacturer, and distributor of medical cannabis in Florida to develop a seed-to-sale blockchain application which will enable the ability to effectively track and monitor every aspect of the growing process for compliance. So they have the opportunity to make a use case in a very active medical marijuana market in Florida. Now, there's another bill going around in Florida that might legalize recreational, but right now they do have medical. Now, this is exciting news for the cannabis and blockchain industry, and, we'll see how they go together. But this is an interesting write-up in the South Florida Hospital News and Healthcare Report. It's interesting that this is in a monthly newspaper for healthcare professionals and physicians, because this is exactly what we talked about in our education video, where there is a lack of education going on to doctors and healthcare professionals about cannabis. Well, it's understandable, because where does that education come from? Schools. And if they're not teaching schools, or at the very worst, suppressing information about cannabis, then how are you supposed to get that information out there to doctors, which then can treat people? Yep, you see how it streamlines. What do they call it? Trickle down economics. That's what they call it, I think, where you very rarely get your trickles down. Anyway, the potential of the cannabis and crypto industries lies in their ability to solve each other's primary challenges, particularly, that's the word, regarding payment processing and supply chain transparency. Now, supply chain and transparency is exactly what blockchain and crypto is supposed to do. So let's look at this. I just want to show you why this is such an important issue, because both industries are considered high growth but present significant risks for investors. Now, this is not financial, medical, or any type of advice. This is just me reading things from the internet. So the global legal cannabis market was valued at $43 billion in 2022 and is projected to grow to $444 billion by 2030. U.S. market alone is expected to reach $47 billion in revenue in 2026. So the global legal cannabis market, valued at $43 billion in 2022, the U.S. is supposed to have more than that in just the U.S.? That's interesting. That's a crazy number. I didn't know that. The cryptocurrency market also is growing, with Bitcoin reaching new highs last year. So they're growing together, pun intended. I guess that's what this is. But what's very, very fascinating is, let's look at some names Again, this is not financial advice, so do your own research on cannabis and crypto. But for example, some blockchains that are best suited for a green energy, green game changer, because that's what this would be. Cannabis is green, hemp is green. So, for example, if you are track and tracing how much hemp or cannabis you grow, if you tokenize that and put it on the blockchain, you can then get carbon credits from the government because you're holding a carbon negative thing in your possession as part of your portfolio. It's crazy to think about that. But the green leaders to watch in 2026 is a defining metric for blockchain innovation, sustainability. You know, these next projects I'm going to name aren't just reducing energy, they're rethinking what a climate positive digital economy looks like, as well as promoting green positive social impact. Algorand, Cardano, Hedera, Hashgraph, Solana, XRP, Ethereum, these are all blockchains that help move data. And they have also payments in them. Now, some of them, Ethereum does data, not necessarily payments, but others do both. So keep an eye on the ones I named to be used. Mostly probably Hedera, Solana, Ethereum, XRP, and Algorand. Those are the ones I'd say. But yeah, it's fascinating that crypto and cannabis and blockchain and all this is happening all at once, because it's converging all in this new economy, new world we have going on, and it's fascinating to me. But I wanted to present this to the community as something to just take a look at, just to be aware of going on in the future. And then later when you see it come up in the news, you go, oh yeah, I actually heard about that a little bit on the Cannabis Podcast. They were talking about blockchain and cannabis. For example, I actually went up and visited Henry's Originals Farms up in Mendocino. It was beautiful. There was a bunch of great cannabis being grown, but they were actually the first partner with the track and trace seed to sale program with the government in California. So every one of these states' regulations will, mark my words, will make sure everything is on the blockchain. It's the most conducive and effective way to do business with cannabis and capture all of it in one thing. So, for example, you could have on that QR code all the THC amounts, the terpenes, the cannabinoids, and the batch number all put on the blockchain, and the chain of custody from seed to sale to smoke, I'll add that, from seed to smoke, is also actually, unfortunately, whoever bought it will be tracked as well. So from seed to sale to smoke, everything will be right there on the blockchain. You'll know exactly what it is. They can't lie about it, and say, oh, that was a mistake. No, it's on the blockchain. It's right there. So this is one of my passions besides cannabis is crypto and blockchain. I've been in it since about 2008. I've minted some NFTs. I've done some work in the financial world back in my previous lives. And also, a couple channels, if you're looking about crypto, XRP Future Millionaire is a great person to listen to about trading and investing. Again, this isn't advice. Cryptos RS is a good overview. And there's a couple more. I don't really want to promote anything except XRP Future Millionaire tells it how it is. His live streams once or twice a day. And if you have any questions about cannabis or blockchain, email me, comment, leave a like, ask us in the comments. We'll try our best. We're all learning here together. So check it out. More cannabis, more blockchain, more crypto. Again, I'm not a crypto bro. I'm a cannabis bro. But maybe crypto bros and cannabis bros can share I was going to say something that rhymed with that had to do with smoking, but I don't think there is one. Crypto bros and cannabis bros can share Smoke, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, until next time, thanks for being here. Stay blessed, and don't forget to tip your bud tenders.